I am not a graphic designer by any means, but I still design my own album artwork, and I think it looks pretty darn good. In fact, one of my recent videos, some of you said you'd like to see how I go about creating my own artwork for my music. So I'll show you my complete process, the tools I use, and also a free alternative as well. So be sure to watch all the way through to get all of that goodness. Hey, I'm Reagan Ram with Orpheus Audio Academy, helping you make better music and grow a fan base on the line. By the way, if you're wanting to actually turn those followers into fans and start growing a fan base, then be sure to grab my free fan funnel formula guide in the description below. This will walk you through how to get started if you're clueless and how to start growing a fan base. This will help you know how to get up and running and how to actually start generating some sales from your music as well. So this guide is completely free in the description below. Go ahead and grab it or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/fan. All right, so how do I create my own artwork? Well, it all starts with the image, right? So if you're a photographer, you can go and create your own, take a picture and use that for your album artwork. I'm not a photographer. If you're an artist, you can go and you can draw something or do use digital art, whatever. I am not that as well, but I still want to have like original artwork. I don't want to have to go and, sign up for Shutterstock. Like it's something I used to do. I don't really want to do that because that's expensive. And you're having to get images that other people already have access to. So I think it's much better if you kind of create your own original artwork. And right now, the best way to do that is with AI and Midjourney. All the different images that are possible to create. You can see a lot of my images have a more synthwave focused and theme here because I am a synthwave artist, and so you can see just all the original artwork that you can create. So I was working on some like synthwave Christmas song ideas. So you got like a shepherd here or something making synthwave, some interesting artwork here, some like snowy theme here. I was working on a synthwave cover of Good King Wenceslas. And so I guess this is a synthwave version. So the way this works is you just come in here, you sign up for Midjourney, and it's really affordable. I think like there's a free plan, and like the next tier is like $10 a month. But if you really think ahead and you plan out all your song releases and all the artwork you're going to need ahead of time, you can just sign up for 1 month, create all the artwork you want, and then cancel, and you're good for just $10, which is really incredible. It's cheaper than any like stock photo platform, way cheaper than hiring someone to design artwork for you, which I feel bad because I have a sister and she's an amazing digital artist. You do see a lot of people turning to AI just because it is so cheap and affordable. But definitely, if you want to create something custom, I definitely still recommend hiring someone, give them some business, those talented artists out there. You can see for this, as an example, I just typed in synthwave and generated these 4 images. Pretty interesting. And then what you can do is you can upscale them, or you can create variations on them. So let's try this right now. So we just type in / and then we do imagine to start the prompt. And then let's see, I'm working on a song. I think I'm gonna call it Neon Christmas. I'm not really a fan of that title, but I don't know what else to call it. It's instrumental and I'm trying to get out a synthwave Christmas song. So let me just do Neon Christmas and let me try like synthwave colors. Right, whatever your genre of music is, you can put in that, right? Obviously, I'm a synthwave artist, so I'm putting in synthwave here, but this works for any type of genre of music that you create. And now we're just going to wait a second for it to generate the images. We see them coming up now. These are kind of numbered here from left to right, top to bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 1, this would be 3. These are my favorites here. And it fits with my kind of like my brand and my style. I like a lot of landscape. Man, both of these are really cool. It's gonna be hard to pick one. I'm gonna go with 1 and 3, and maybe I'll use 1 for something else, right? This is also great for creating social media images. You can turn these into videos easily as well. There's AI tools that do this as well, but that would probably be a separate video. So let me know if you want me to create more content on AI and how you can use it for your music in the comments below. Man, that looks really nice. And then once you have these, right, we can upscale them to make them larger, higher quality. We can like zoom out if we wanted to. So if we want to include like more of the surrounding terrain here or image, but I like the framing right now for these. We can also vary them. We can add some subtle variation. So let's try very subtle here, and we'll do very strong here. This doesn't like erase the original image. You still have that if you want to go with that. But you kind of just can see what else can come up with. And I'm gonna go ahead and upscale these because I really like these as they are. So upscale 4x, so they're high quality images for artwork. And once you have these, like these look good enough, you could just use these as album art as they are. You don't have to go and add any text to them. Your style, right? A lot of album art out there, there's not really any text on them. If you do want to add text, I'll show you how to do that in just a second after we see how these turn out. So I varied very subtly on these. Interesting, got like some industrial works here in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and upscale these just in case I want to use them. It's a good way to, if you want to create a remix of something, you can have all your album art kind of look the same, or your social media posting. Man, these are really cool. That's really cool. It's like a electrified. So this is really cool, but that car looks in the end of the road, like, I don't know, it looks kind of weird. So we can vary region here and see if it can do something a little better here. So we can just like highlight this region if we want to change that. Everything else looks good. So we can, oh, we gotta select a larger area and submit that and see what now that will come up with. Yeah, these all look pretty good. The road kind of continues on now. So do we want to have a mountain in the background? All right, so I have this Photoshop template that I use over and over again because I want my branding to be consistent. I'll use the same logo, same fonts if I can, same kind of style. So here's a recent one I made. And so we'll create something similar. So don't worry, if you don't use Photoshop, I'll share with you a free tool you can use a little later on in this video. Can I shrink this down? Now, I am not a Photoshop expert, by the way. I know just the bare essentials to get by just from watching tutorials on YouTube, which shows the value of watching tutorials on YouTube. So let's see, so there's different layers here. So the bottom layer right now is the background here. So I'm gonna put the image we downloaded right on top of that. Just drag this in. I probably put this on top. So I gotta bring this all the way back down to here. Cool. I kind of like where the text is here. So you can kind of see most of the image, and we got my logo up there. So the big part of text is editing like the glow, the effects around it here. So right now I've got like some outer glow and drop shadow effects going on here. So if I double click on these effects here, this pulls up the control here. So it's going to control all this stuff. So the check boxes are what I'm currently using. So I'm currently using outer glow. I'm using this blue color. So I think I want to use instead a color from the image itself. So everything is kind of cohesive and consistent. So I want to use kind of a lighter blue to help it stand out and make it seem synth wavy and glowy. So what if I grab like this blue here? It's got a bit too much green in it. So I might just grab maybe, there's also this pink color. All right. And then we got the drop shadow. Drop shadow, this is kind of a dark purplish color. So I might want to make this also match. So I might just use one of these dark blues. Pretty good. Maybe darken it a bit since it's a shadow. And so if you want to see what this is doing, I know we're at 10. So you can see it's kind of helps the text stand out a bit. So we can see we kind of got like a neon type glow going on here. And then I want to match my logo be doing the same thing. So we also got stroke and inner glow going on here. So I might want to add those in. We'll see. So stroke, we want this to also be kind of a dark blue color. Inner glow, we're using this pink color right now. Let's use a pink color from the actual image. Outer glow, we want this to match what's going on over here. So I might just want to just copy it so it's exactly the same. So I can copy the color code here. So there we go. Now our song title and our logo artist name now match. And you can be pretty much done there, but we can also do some color editing if we wanted to. Another thing I like to do for synthwave specifically, maybe you wouldn't want to do this, but add some kind of overlay. So for example, I have this like old VH box image. I just went into Google, typed old VHS box, looked kind of beat up. And so I can throw this on to kind of make it look a little bit more like an album cover or something, or a little bit more beat up to kind of fit with the synthwave vibes. And then I think that just made it a little bit too bright for me. So I just added some brightness and contrast here to make it a little darker. And then for this, the opacity is only at 32%. And the way to get it to not cover everything is you use the screen. So anytime you want to kind of put some kind of like make it look like it's on a VHS box or a vinyl case, you want to use screen because, again, I'm not an expert, but I believe what it does is it takes all the black parts and removes it and just leaves the white parts. And so that's pretty cool. And so we could like bring up the opaco if we wanted to. You can kind of see more of what's going on there. Bring this up a bit more. Maybe I'll do 40, 50, get a little bit more present. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't want to use the same thing exactly every time because then all my albums look a little too similar. We want to probably use some different distressed texture to add onto here. And so then I'll just go ahead and do file, export as PNG. That is a large file size, so it's high quality. And here we go. Now we have our finished album cover, so that's great, and we can now upload it wherever we want to. But real quick, I'm going to show you another tool I like to use. I use probably more than Photoshop, and it is Pixelmator Pro. This is like a Photoshop Lite or a cheaper version of Photoshop for Mac. And it's just a little simpler and something that's easier to use for me just because I'm more familiar with it. I probably should learn Photoshop more, but this is another thing. You can do the exact same thing here. You can add layers, you can add text. If you want something a little cheaper than Photoshop, you can use this. What I like is in here is the easy way to like enhance the colors and stuff. I'm sure you can do this easily in Photoshop. I just haven't learned it yet. So like we could increase the vibrance or decrease it. It depends on what you're going for. If you want a more edgy look. And it's a good idea to really zoom out on your album artwork too, because right in Spotify, it's probably going to be about like this size in the bottom left, or in iTunes or whatever, people are, it's gonna be kind of small. And that's kind of cool, looks really edgy. Or if you really want it to be, this is kind of more, I guess, festive, Christmassy, if you really want it to stand out. So that's something really to mess with is the vibrance. So I might actually crank that up a bit. Sharpness as well can be good to help things stand out a bit. So I don't know if you can even see what happened there. But I can do undo, sharpen. You can see it's a little more faded, a little less present, I guess. And then redo, sharpen, just helps it just stand out a little bit more. And then we can also, deal with the basic stuff too if we wanted to. Bring the shadows back in a bit more. I kind of like contrasting. Boost the contrast a bit. Boost the brightness a bit. Exposure, maybe a tad. Now, it's a good idea. Just like when you're producing music, when you've added a bunch of plugins and stuff, it's kind of good to A/B test and hear what it sounds like without what you did and what you did to make sure you didn't just make it worse. So we'll do that now. Didn't do anything with the white balance. So basic correction, we'll turn this off and on, off, on. So it's definitely a matter of preference. Trying to think what's more eye-catching. Definitely think this pops out a little bit more, so I'm gonna leave that in. Hue and saturation. It's very subtle. So yeah, I think we're good now. Usually how I'd go ahead and upload it. So exporting that is done. Now I did say you could also do this for free. So a free tool you can use is called Canva. So you can just go up into the search bar in Canva and type in album cover, and you can find different like templates and stuff. I'm just gonna do blank album cover here. And we can drop in the image that we created in Midjourney. I can go find my logo. Now I don't think it has these same fonts in Canva. I think you need the paid version to like add your own fonts. So that's the reason why I don't use it. But if you use fonts that are in Canva already, then that's totally fine. It has a ton of fonts. There's probably thousands, but just to kind of give you an example. So there you go. And then there's not as much you can do with like editing the text like you saw in Photoshop. So now this is photo. So there's different like photo editing things I could do, filters and such. For actual text, there's some different effects I can add. I can lift it. So this is kind of like adding a drop shadow behind it. And you can do neon, so it kind of glows a little bit. So maybe that would be nice. Glitch, change the colors, echo. So you got a little bit of controls here, but you can see not quite as robust as like Photoshop or Pixelmator, because Pixelmator you can also do some things, although even that's not as robust as Photoshop. So kind of 3 different tools here, depending on what you want to invest in your time and learning and money to buy. But you can see now we have it in here. Very good. We can still edit this photo. We can add different effects to it, filters. There's a lot of cool filters in here. So you can create some pretty cool effects here. And there's all kinds of other tools in here. So Canva is a really great tool. Even the free version gives you a lot of ability. If you want to start growing your fan base, be sure to grab my free fan funnel formula guide in the description below, or go to orpheusaudioacademy.com/fan. Now, once you have your album artwork, if you want to know how to actually upload your music so it appears on Spotify, all the other streaming platforms, all the online stores like Apple Music, then be sure to check out my video on the screen right now, and I'll show you how to quickly and easily upload your music so it can be available for everyone to listen everywhere. Thanks for watching. Hit like if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in a future video.